learn with joy.
Hi, hello champions. Good morning. Today I am going to start with the chapter called as the overheads, one of the very important chapter from the subject called as cost and management accounting. The concept what we are going to discuss in this chapter will have impact on every chapter. You all know that there is a concept called as the under or over absorption. That concept will be having impact on every chapter. Without wasting the time, let us quickly start with the chapter called as the overheads. Let us get the overview of the chapter called as the overheads. Mainly three concepts. Number one, absorption of overheads. Number two, under or over absorption, and accounting treatment. Accounting treatment. Number three, machine hour rate. These are the only three concepts in case of overheads. One is absorption of overheads, second under or over absorption and its accounting treatment, at last machine hour rate. In this video, we are going to discuss absorption of overheads. We all know that overheads is a sum of three elements: indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expenses. If you add these three, we'll be calling it as overheads. Now, when it comes to overheads, there are three types again. Overheads can be classified into three categories: manufacturing overheads, administration overheads, selling and distribution overheads. We all know that administration, selling and distribution will be recovered based on units sold. We discussed this in the cost sheet. When it comes to manufacturing overheads, that will be charged to the production units. Nothing but it will be considered for the stock valuation. Manufacturing overheads will be considered for the stock valuation. Let me take an example. This remote has been produced. The one of the remote has been produced. I want to fix the price to this remote. When we want to fix the price, first we need to take direct material. Just example. Direct material of this remote is 10 rupees. Direct labor rupees 5 rupees. Prime cost comes to rupees 15 rupees. Now we need to add manufacturing overheads. When it comes to manufacturing overheads, again we can classify into variable overheads, fixed overheads. Just I am trying to explain what is the main content of this chapter, the main focus of this chapter. So direct material is 10 rupees, direct labor is 5 rupees, prime cost is 15 rupees. Manufacturing overheads we can classify into variable overheads, fixed overheads. Sir, what is variable overheads? Variable overheads is nothing but overheads which is incurred based on production related. Let me give the example of this. Higher charges paid to machinery. Higher charges paid to machinery based on the production, based on the number of remotes produced. Then higher charges is a variable cost. Sometimes depreciation also accounted based on production. Then depreciation is also one of the variable overheads. Whatever the overhead incurred based on the production, we are going to call it as the variable overheads. So let me take an example. Manufacturing overheads, under that variable overheads equal to rupees 5 rupees. Now It is a term to add the manufacturing overheads. It is a term to add the fixed manufacturing overheads. Let me so precise. Fixed manufacturing overheads. This is variable manufacturing overheads. This fixed manufacturing overheads. Now the question mark is how to charge fixed manufacturing overheads to this remote. What are the examples means? Number one, rent of the premises. How to charge rent to this remote? Because if I want to evaluate this remote, I need to account all the cost incurred against this remote. I accounted material, labor, variable manufacturing overheads. Now I need to add fixed manufacturing overheads, rent of the factory, insurance of the factory, salary paid to the manager, depreciation of the machinery. All these expenses I need to account to this remote. The discussion is how to account fixed manufacturing overheads to this remote. Here you can tell me one thing. What you can say, sir? Directly you take the total of all the fixed manufacturing overheads divided by production units. We will be getting fixed manufacturing overhead per unit. Take that and evaluate the remote. Please understand, if I produce only remote, then I can follow this. That means if the company is single product based company, then we can follow this. Nothing wrong in that. But in the present scenario, most of the companies are diversified. Along with this remote, they'll produce this mic. Along with this remote, they'll be producing many number of plastic items. We cannot charge equal amount. To all the products. I don't know if you're clear about this. So the main agenda is how to account or how to charge fixed manufacturing overheads to each and every product. That is what the main discussion of the chapter called as the overheads, which is also called as the absorption of overhead to the product. Once the product is completed, how much to be absorbed to this product? How much need to be absorbed to this product? Okay, now, so the first discussion is absorption process. Absorption process. In absorption process, there are three steps. Please understand, there are three steps in the absorption process. Number one, primary distribution summary. Number two, secondary distribution summary. Number three, absorption. These are the three steps involved in the absorption process. Let us discuss one by one. Before proceeding for the further discussion, in case of primary distribution summary, first we need to classify the factory. Into two types of departments. Factory should be classified into two types of departments: production departments, service departments. What is this production department? Means the department in which they carry on the activity relating to the main product, that is called as production department. When it comes to service department, these are the support departments. These are the departments which are providing service to the production departments. When I say production department, let me take an example: car manufacturing company. In case of car manufacturing company, engine department is one of the production department. Steering department is one of the production department. Assembling department is one of the production department. Body building department is one of the production department. Just these are the example: engine, steering, body building, assembling, wheels, filters production, seats production. All these are the examples of the production department. When I say service department, I can give the examples. Number one, repairs and maintenance. Repairs and maintenance is one of the service department. Warehouse, storeroom, canteen, boiler house, powerhouse. These all are the examples of the support department. So first target in case of primary distribution summary, in case of primary, we are discussing first step of the absorption process, primary distribution summary. In primary distribution summary, first classify the entire factory into two types of departments: production department, service department. Are you understanding? Now, after doing this, from the factory, make a list of all the expenses. Make a list of all the expenses: rent, depreciation, insurance, lighting charges, supervisor salary. Like that, make a list of all the indirect fixed manufacturing overheads. I can call it as make a list of all the fixed manufacturing overheads. For better understanding, I have drawn one chart. Let us understand through the chart. Look at here. This is the overview of the absorption process. This is the overview of the absorption process. Look at here. I am taking the overheads. Fixed manufacturing overheads. Power, rent, insurance, lighting charges, depreciation, supervision, etc. Like this, will make a list of all the expenses. And then we'll classify the entire factory into departments: production department, service department. Just for example sake, I took two production departments, P1, P2, and one service department, S1. P1, P2, S1. Now, as of now, for time being, you forget about this and all this things. Okay. For time being, you forget about this. Okay. Let it be. Fine. Now, see here. Production department P1, P2, and then service department. Now, all these expenses will be accounted to P1, P2, S1. How to account that? When it comes to power charges depends upon horsepower of machinery or machine hours worked. Horsepower or machine hours. Power will be consumed by the machines. So the power cost should be apportioned based on horsepower or machine hours. If they given both, take horsepower machine hours or horsepower hours. Rent, area, insurance, value of asset, lighting charges, number of light points, depreciation, value of asset, supervision, time spent. By taking certain thing as the basis, we are going to apportion to P1, P2, S1. After doing primary distribution summary, all these expenses will become zero and individual expenses converted to departmental expenses or departmental overheads. P1 production department 1 overheads, production department 2 overheads, service department 1 overheads. Clear? Now, by this we done with the primary distribution summary. After doing primary distribution summary, we have to do the secondary distribution. What is this secondary distribution means? Please understand. In case of service department, whatever the cost apportioned, let me take an example. From all these expenses, 2 lakh rupees has been accounted to service department. 2 lakh rupees has been apportioned to service department. This 2 lakh rupees has to be recovered. Most of the service department will not have the revenue generation capacity. Repairs and maintenance, it does not have any revenue. Storeroom will not have any revenue. So most of the service department cannot have any will not generate the revenue. So the service departments cannot recover the cost. This unrecovered cost of 2 lakh rupees has to be apportioned back to the production department, which is called as secondary distribution summary. So in primary distribution summary, converting individual expenses to departmental expenses. In secondary distribution summary, the unrecovered cost of the service department will be apportioned back to production department. After doing secondary distribution summary, the service department will become big zero. The service department will become zero. Now the entire cost get accumulated in P1 department, P2 department. After this, from the P1 department, we will charge it to product A, product B. From the P2 department, we will charge it to product A, product B. That is how we are going to charge it to the product. Before charging it to the product, we need to do two steps. Number one, primary distribution summary to convert individual expense into departmental expenses. Secondary distribution summary to charge unrecovered cost of service department to the production departments. Clear on this? These are the three stages in absorption process. Let me discuss elaborately about primary distribution summary. Let me discuss one by one now. We all know that the purpose of primary distribution summary is converting individual expense into departmental expenses. Let me discuss few adjustments regarding primary distribution summary. See here, in primary distribution summary, this is the format. First we'll write particulars, basis of distribution. As I told you, rent area is the base. Depreciation, value of the asset. Insurance, value of the asset. Per machine hours and horsepower or horsepower hours. Okay, that is the basis. So next we'll take the total amount of overheads. Then we'll make a list of production departments, service departments, and then we are going to account. One of the very important point is, here it is, direct material, direct wages. We all know that here the main discussion is apportioning the overheads. When I say overheads, indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expenses. So we are in the assumption that should not consider direct material, should not consider direct wages. But please understand, direct material, direct wages of service departments, direct material, direct wages of service department will be considered as indirect material, indirect wages for the production department. Let me give example to understand this. Let me take the example of the canteen. If you take a canteen, direct material of canteen is rice, dal, oil, all these things are the direct material according to the canteen. Within the factory, canteen is one of the department. Apart from canteen, there will be P1 department, P2 department, P3 department, like the many production departments are there. According to P1, P2, P3, according to production department, it is a indirect material. This rice, dal, oil, all these things will not form part of the product produced by the, will not be included or will not be identified in the product produced by the production departments. So according to production department, these items are indirect material. So what I mean to say, direct material of service department will be considered as indirect material for production departments. So if they given you direct material, direct wages, don't take it for production departments, but consider it for service departments. According to production department, it is an indirect material, indirect wages. All of you clear about this? Now look at the table. I clearly stated, if you look at the table, direct material into for the production departments, tick for the service departments. Same way, direct wages into tick for the service departments. All of you clear? Now, direct material and direct wages of service department will be considered as indirect material and indirect wages for the production departments. All of you clear? Next. We all know that secondary distribution summary, the main purpose of the secondary, okay, that is about primary distribution summary. Let me discuss the secondary distribution summary. Just now we discussed, we are apportioning service department cost to the production departments. But under secondary distribution summary, there is three different methods. Number one, direct redistribution method. Number two, step ladder method or step down method. Number three, reciprocal method. Look at here. Methods of reapportionment. One more name given is reapportionment. Methods of reapportionment. First apportionment is primary distribution. This is the reapportionment, secondary apportionment. Direct redistribution method, step method or non-reciprocal method, reciprocal method. Under reciprocal method, again we have three more methods: simultaneous equation method, trial and error method, repeated distribution method. Let us understand first three different methods of the secondary distribution summary, direct redistribution method. So the assumption of this method is service is provided only to the production departments. There is no exchange of service. There is no exchange of service between the service departments. Direct redistribution method means directly redistributed to production department, because under secondary distribution the task is service department cost should be distributed to the production department. So under direct redistribution method, the service department cost will be directly given to the production department. To understand better, I am showing you one picture. Look at here: P1, P2, S1, S2. Now, when it come to S1, it will be providing service to P1, P2, but it will not provide service to S2. When it comes to S2, it will provide service to P1, P2, but it will not provide service to S1. That means there is no exchange of service between the service departments, which is called as direct redistribution method. Clear? Next, step ladder method. In case of step ladder method, one service department will provide service to another service department, but it will not take back the service, or it will take the service but it will not give back the service. One way service, either give the service or take the service, but both cannot be possible. That is called as the step ladder method or step down method or non reciprocal method. Look at here: S1 is providing service to P1, P2, S2, but S2 is providing service to P1, P2, but not to the S1. This is called as the reciprocal method, step ladder method. One of the very important point in case of step ladder method is which service department to be apportioned first. In this picture, S1 is providing service to S2, so first we will apportion S1 and second we will apportion S2. Sir, how to decide this? Please understand the service department which is giving service to more number of service departments. Let me take example to understand this. Look at here. There is S1, S2, S3, S4. Four service departments are there. S1 is giving service to S4. Sorry, let me go one by one. It is giving service to S2, S3, S4. When it comes to S2, it is giving service to S3, S4. When it comes to S3, it is giving service to S4. S4 is not at all providing service back. Now the point is, S1 is giving service to 3 service departments, S2 is providing service to 2 service departments, S3 is providing service to 1 service department, S4 is providing service to 0 service departments. So the sequence is 3, 2, 1, 0. First we will apportion S1, then S2, then S3, then S4. So that means under step ladder method, which service department to be apportioned first means the service department which is providing service to more number of service departments, that will be apportioned first. In our example, S1 is giving service to S2, but S2 is not providing service. S1 is giving service to 1 service department, S2 is giving service to 0 service department. So first we will apportion S1, then second we will apportion S2. All of you clear about this? So this is about the step ladder method. Under reciprocal method, both the ways, it will be giving service and taking back the service. It is giving service and taking back the service. This is called as the reciprocal method. Under reciprocal method, again we have 3 more methods, that is simultaneous equation method, trial and error method, repeated distribution method. Under simultaneous equation method, we all know that we are going to form the equations, solve the equations, and then we'll do the apportionment. Trial and error method is similar to the repeated distribution method. First of all, repeated distribution method means service department cost will be repeatedly distributed until you make service department 0. It's better to explain these things with one question. I'll explain that. So repeated distribution is repeatedly will distribute until the service department will become 0. Trial and error method is also repeated distribution only between the service departments. Trial and error method is a repeated distribution only between the service departments. We are not going to take the production departments. Then make a total of service department, we'll get total overheads and then we'll do the apportionment. That is the trial and error method. All of you clear? Understanding. So this is about primary distribution and secondary distribution. After doing secondary distribution, as I told you, the entire overheads get accumulated in production department. From production department, we'll charge it to the product by calculating the absorption rate. Clear? Okay, now let us start doing questions based on the primary distribution and secondary distribution. Look at this. Question number 1, which is based on secondary distribution. Which is based on secondary distribution. Look at the question. Okay, question number 1. Look at this. Now, Excel Limited has 3 production departments, 4 service departments. The expenses of these departments are primary distribution summary are as follows. They given department A 3 lakh rupees, department B 30 lakhs, 26 lakhs, C 24 lakhs. Service department stores 4 lakhs, timekeeping and accounts 3 lakhs, power 1,60,000, canteen 1 lakh rupees. These are the values that they're getting by doing primary distribution summary. Now we no need to do the primary distribution summary. We have to do the secondary distribution summary. Look at here. The following information is also available in respect of production departments. Department A, Department B, Department C. They given the information of horsepower of machine, number of workers working in each department, value of stores requisition in rupees. Prepare statement apportioning cost of service department over the production department. So what they're asking, from service department you are charged to the production department, which is called as secondary distribution summary, using direct redistribution method. If it is direct redistribution method, directly will apportion to the production departments. We are not going to apportion to the service department. So there is no exchange of service between service department. Directly will apportion to the production departments. There are 4 service departments. Number 1, look at the first one, stores. According to given information, stores will be apportioned on what basis means number of, value of stores requisition. Value of stores requisition is the base. Value of stores requisition is the base for the stores cost. The stores cost of 4 lakh rupees. Stores cost of 4 lakh rupees will be apportioned based on value of stores requisitions. Timekeeping and accounts, that will be apportioned based on the number of workers. Timekeeping and accounts is but payroll. Payroll department depends upon number of workers. Next, power will be apportioned based on the horsepower. Canteen depends upon number of workers. Food consumption, canteen is there for providing the food. So on what basis we are going to apportion? That means number of workers. So look at here, value of stores requisition That is 2,50,000, 1,50,000, 1 lakh rupees. Commonly, we can divide with the 50,000. It will become 5 is to 3 is to 2. So this 4 lakh rupees will be apportioned. What happened to this? Okay. Will be apportioned to A, B, C, D in the proportion of 5 is to 3 is to 2. Same way, timekeeping and accounts. Number of workers 20, 15, 15. We can take it as 4 is to 3 is to 3. Next, horsepower 300, 300, 200, 3 is to 3 is to 2. Next, canteen, 1 lakh, number of workers, 2 is to, sorry, 3, 4 is to 3 is to 3. Like that, we are going to apportion. I already shown you the format. Look at here, items of cost. First one, item of cost, basis of apportionment, total, production department. No need to take the service department because it is direct redistribution method. Are you understanding? If you take stores, value of stores, timekeeping, number of workers, power, horsepower of machine, canteen, number of workers. On that basis, they apportion and they calculate the total. I told you the proportions also. Clear? Next. Next question. Question number 2. That is based on step ladder method. What is step ladder method? Step down method, non-reciprocal method. These are the different names of this method. As I told you, service department will give service but it will not take back, or it takes service but it will not give back. Second point, we need to know in which sequence we need to apportion the service department cost. Sequence depends upon the service department providing service to more number of service departments will be apportioned first and in the same order. Look at here. Suppose the expense of two production departments A, B and two service department X, Y are as under. The given department A, B, which are production departments X, Y, which are service department, they given the amounts. This is the primary distribution summary. Next, apportionment basis. Look at here. Listen. When it comes to service department X, providing service to Y 25%, X providing service to A 40%, B 35%. When it comes to Y, it is not providing service to X. It is providing only to A and B. So which department will be apportioned first means we are going to apportion X first because X is providing service to Y, but Y is not providing service to X. First we will apportion X, then we will apportion Y. X will be apportioned in the proportion of 25%, 40%, 35%. Total amount is 2 lakhs. Y will be apportioned on the basis of the 40%, 60%. Look at here. First they taken XY, AB. XY are the service department, AB are the production department. But my recommendation is that take the production department first and then take the service department. Here it is ulta, that's fine. But it's recommended to take production department first and then service departments. Now, expenses as given above 2 lakh, 1 lakh 50,000, 3 lakh, 3 lakh 20,000. Expense of service department X is apportioned among YAB. I told you now, first we are going to apportion X, then we will apportion Y. So that the service department will become 0. That is the purpose of the secondary distribution. After doing secondary distribution, the service department will automatically become 0. The entire cost accumulated in the production departments. From this production department, we will charge it to the products. All of you clear? Okay, next. Simultaneous equation method. Now, this is about reciprocal. Method. Suppose if you take S1, S2, S1 provides service to S2, S2 will provide service to S1. This is called as reciprocal. Under reciprocal, the first method is simultaneous equation method. Let me explain this. Look at the question. Service department expenses. Boiler house 3 lakh rupees. Pump room 60,000. These are the service department expenses. The allocation basis is, look at this. First service department is boiler house. It is providing service to A, B and it is providing service 5% to the pump room. Whereas pump room is providing 10% service to A, 40% service to B and 50% service to boiler house. Now let me write that. There are two service department, boiler house, pump room. Boiler house is providing service 5%, whereas pump room is providing service 50%. In examination also, you write like this to avoid the confusion while forming the equations. Are you understanding? So write this chart. It is so helpful. Okay. Now, how to form the equations? Listen to me carefully. What I am going to do, we are going to take the assumption total overheads of Boiler house B, B. Just we are taking the assumption, we are going to denote with B. Total overheads of pump room B, P. Sir, what is this logic? Please understand. At present, boiler house is having 3 lakh rupees, which we got through primary distribution summary. But boiler house is taking, look at this, look at this, look at this. Okay. Look at this chart. Boiler house is taking 50% service from pump room. That means the pump room cost 50% should be allocated to boiler house. That means in addition to this 3 lakhs, I am speaking about boiler house. In addition to this 3 lakhs, we need to add 50% of pump room cost. 50% of pump room cost. Pump room cost, we are taking it as P. So 50% of P. 50% of P. So simply I can write boiler house B equal to, first equation I am writing 3 lakhs existing cost plus 50% of pump room. I hope you are understanding. Again, I am repeating this. It is worth spending time on this. Try to understand how to form the equations. Boiler house, pump room are two service department. Here I written the percentage of sharing. Boiler house is providing 5% service to pump room, whereas pump room is providing 50% service to boiler house. Boiler house is having 3 lakh rupees cost. In addition to that, boiler house is receiving 50% from the pump room. So that I am going to write 50% of the pump room cost. Here I written that total overheads of pump room is P, total overheads of boiler house is B. So total overheads of boiler house B equal to existing cost of 3 lakh rupees plus 50% of pump room. If you really understand, you just guess the formula for the pump room. Pump room P equal to already existing cost of 60,000 plus it is receiving 5% service from the boiler house. These are the two equations which they written here. But there is a small error here. Look at here. B equal to 3 lakh plus 0.5 P, correct. P equal to 60,000 plus 0.05 B. This is error. So 0.05 B. Okay, make a correction. Now, substituting the values of B. Now, what we can do, these are the equation 1 and this is the equation 2. We'll solve this equation by the substitution model. So, we taken P equal to 60,000 plus 0.05 B. In place of B, we'll write this equation. That is what they did this. If we solve that, we'll get P equal to 76,923. Nothing but total overheads. What is this 76,923 means? Total overheads of department P. Using this P, we can calculate B now. Substitute in the first equation. P value, substitute in the first equation, we'll get B. How much is the B? Okay, here there it is 76,923 and that of boiler house is 3,38,462. Now we'll do the apportionment on the base of total overheads. See, instead of doing repeated distribution, it's better to go by the simultaneous equation method. Now listen to me carefully. When we are apportioning the boiler house cost, what they given in the question is 3 lakh rupees, but 3 lakh rupees is not the cost. The boiler house cost is 3,38,462. This 3,38,462 will be apportioned to AB in the proportion of 60:35. Here they given the percentage 60:35. When it comes to pump room total overheads is 76,923. That 76,923 will be apportioned in the proportion of 10:40. Look at here. 10:40. If you apportion that, if you make a total, that is the total overheads of department A, total overheads of department B. I have to be clear about this. Understanding. This is about simultaneous equation method. So, under simultaneous equation method, number one, form the equation, solve the equation, apportionment. Okay, next. Illustration 4. It is having primary and secondary distribution method. Now look at here. Sanj Limited is a manufacturing company having three production departments A, B, and C, and two service departments X and Y. The following is the budget for December 2022. They given total of Okay, they given total, and then department A, department B, department C. These three are the production departments, and these two are the service department. They given direct material, direct wages. We already discussed about the direct material, direct wages. Don't consider the direct material, direct wages of the production department. So don't consider all these three, but consider the service department, direct material, direct wages. Clear? Next. Factory rent 4 lakh rupees, power 2 lakh 50,000, depreciation 1 lakh, other overheads 9 lakhs. Now, additional information they given area in square meters, capital value of asset, machine horsepower of machine. Look at here, they given machine horse as well as horsepower of machine. When they given both the factors, now let's go one by one. Factory rent, what is the base? Area. Area is the base for the factory rent. Power. Power depends upon horsepower and machine horse. Take the product of both. So take the product of both. Take the product of this and then take the proportion. Next. Depreciation depends upon value of machinery. Depreciation depends upon value of asset. Next, other overheads 9 lakh rupees. Please understand other overhead, general overhead, sundries, all these things are the general expenses. Normally, it is recommended to apportion based on the horse. It is recommended to apportion based on the horse. Which horse? Either machine horse or labor horse. If this information is not available, then apportion based on the direct wages. These are the only two types of questions which is there in your syllabus. Because other overheads means we don't know the name, which is included in that we don't know that. The first preferable method is horse. The first preferable method is horse, either machine horse or labor horse. Second preferable method is direct wages. Are you understanding? Now, in this question, machine hours is available. So, we are going to apportion based on the machine hours. We are going to apportion based on the machine hours. Now, look at the calculation. So, this is about primary distribution. Look at the here. Prepare a statement showing distribution of overheads to various departments. So, overheads to the departments. Convert individual overheads into departmental overheads. Primary distribution summary. Look at the second requirement. Prepare a statement showing redistribution of service department to production departments under trial and error method. Are you understanding? Okay, now look at here. Overhead distribution summary. First, direct material, direct wages. Don't take for the production department. Take it only for the service department. Factory rent, area, power, horsepower into machine hours. Depreciation, capital value, other overheads, machine hours. If you make a total, we'll get the primary distribution summary. This is called the primary distribution summary. When it comes to secondary distribution, what we need to do under secondary distribution, the service department cost should be apportioned to the production departments. That should be done under trial and error method. What is this trial and error method means? Please understand. Let me write this here. Department X 4,75,000, department Y 5,35,000. Here the taken. Here the written primary distribution. Sorry, secondary distribution summary under trial and error method. Trial and error method. As I told you, take only X, Y service departments 4,75,000, 5,35,000. Now they given the percentages in the question. X is providing service 10% to the Y. Y is providing service X percent, sorry, 5% to the X. So as I told you, always write like this. To avoid the confusion, write the chart. Here X, Y. X is giving service of 10%, Y is giving service of 5%. That is what they stated here. Yes. X is giving 10%, Y is giving 5%. Now, first apportion department X. First we'll see. When it comes to reciprocal method, give and taking policy, you can start with any department. You can start with X department or you can start with Y department. Your answer is not going to change. Only that factor should be considered only in case of step ladder method. Which service department to be apportioned first? That should be considered only in case of step ladder method. Under reciprocal method, you can start with any department. I am starting with the X department. X is providing 10% service to the Y. X is providing 10% service to the Y. Look at here. 10% service to the Y. So 4,75,000 into 10%, 47,500. The total overheads in the Y department now is 5,35,000 plus 47,500, 5,82,500. From this 5,82,500, Y is providing 5% service to X. So on this 5,82,500, provide 5%, 29,125. Now this 4,75,000 is already apportioned. 5,82,500 is also already apportioned. Now we have to apportion from 29,125. Just now we apportion 29,125. Now out of 29,125, we have to apportion. See, this is the X department. Apportion 10% to Y. 10% is 2,913. Now from this 2,913, apportion 5% to the X 146. Then make the total. Total overheads of X is 5,04,271. 5,85,413 is the overheads of Y. In simultaneous equation method, we'll form the equations by taking total overheads of X department as X, total overheads of Y department as Y, and we'll calculate X and Y, which is called as total overheads. Instead of forming the equations, directly we are calculating by apportioning between the departments X value, Y value. Total overheads of X department is 5,04,271. Total overheads of Y department is 5,85,413. Using this, now we are going to do the apportionment. X will be apportioned to A, B, C. Y will be apportioned to A, B, C in the given proportions. Look at here. A, B, C. X department 90% of 5,04,300. Why we are taking only 90%? Because 10% belongs to Y department. Don't consider that. 90% of this amount, I mean, total amount will be apportioned. Total amount will be apportioned. But to what extent mean 90% between A, B, C? What is the proportions given here? Look at here. 45, 15, 30. We can take it as 3 is to 1 is to 2. 3 is to 1 is to 2. Okay, here 60, 35, we can take it directly. Look at here. 3 is to 1 is to 2. When we come to Y department, 5,85,400 between A, B, don't apportion between C. Total overheads given of production departments. All of you clear? Okay, now look at the last model, repeated distribution method under secondary distribution summary. Taking all the information from illustration 4 above, prepare a statement showing redistribution of service department expenses to production departments using repeated distribution method. Also calculate machine hour rate of production department A, B, C. Now listen to me carefully. A, B, C, X, Y. In X department, 4,75,000 is there. That should be apportioned to A, B, C, and Y. In the proportion what they given. 45, 15, 30, 10. In that proportion, 45, 15, 30, 10. 0 to the X department. X department cannot apportion to the X department. Self-service is not a service. X is giving service to A, B, C, Y. Don't take self-service. Clear? Next. Y department should be apportioned in the proportion of 60, 35, 0, 5, 0. But how much to be apportioned means already existing stock of 5,35,000 plus 47,500, 5,82,500 should be apportioned in the given proportion. They have to apportion. Next. Now what happened? After doing this, look at here. After doing this step, this total and this total is both will get cancelled and it will become 0. But again some cost is there in the X department. Now we need to apportion 29,125 between A, B, C and Y. By doing this, plus 4,75,000 minus 4,75,000 plus 2,95,000 plus 2,95,000 minus 2 lakh, both will get cancelled. X department becomes 0, but 2,912 is there in Y department. Now apportion 2,912 between A, B, C is 0, X 146. Now these two will become 0, but 146 rupees is there in the X department. So apportion 146 rupees between A, B, C, Y. Now 15 rupees apportion between A and B, take 0. So ultimately the service department becomes 0, but you repeated distribution. What we are doing? Why they given the name repeated distribution? Please understand. So first we apportion X. First we apportion X. Then we apportion Y. Then X. Then Y. Then X. Then Y. We have done the 3 cycles. By doing the 3 cycles, these two departments become 0. entire cost accumulated in production departments. This is called repeated distribution method. Next. Here they are asking, see, after getting or after doing secondary distribution summary, entire cost accumulated in A, B, C. Now here they are asking to calculate machine hour rate. Machine hour rate. How to calculate machine hour rate? Overheads divided by machine hours. Overheads divided by machine hours of B. Overhead divided by machine hours of C. They given machine hours in the question. Look at here. Here it is. They given machine hours in the question. That is 1000, 2000, 4000. 1000, 2000, 4000. Look at here, 1000, 2000, 4000. They are getting the hourly rates. Understanding, all of you? Okay, and as I told you, whatever doubts that you have, please mention it in the comment section. If you like this video and if you feel this information is worthy, please subscribe my channel and like the video and try to share it with your friends, which will be so helpful for them. Try to share it with your friends and please comment. Whatever doubts that you have, please comment. Or if you want any of the information, any of the additional videos, please mention in the comment box. Definitely I'll be responding to that. Okay, next. Machine heart rate, we'll do it in the next video. Let me complete all the questions based on the primary and secondary distribution and absorption. Look at here. This question is based on primary and secondary distribution. The ABC company has the following account balances and distribution of direct charges on 31st March. Production department, service department. See, in this question, there is 2 production department, machine shop, packing, 2 service department, general plant, stores and maintenance. Some of the allocated overheads given, some of the apportionable overheads given. Sir, what is this allocation and what is this apportionment? Please understand, allocation means cost which is specifically incurred to the department. Apportionment means general expense incurred. Now we need to do the apportionment. Allocation, look at here. Cost and payroll salary 10,000 rupees, that is specifically incurred for the general plant, which is called allocated. Cost is specifically allocated to the department. Understanding? Okay, now the following data were compiled by means of factory survey made in the previous year. They given floor space, radiator section, number of employees, investment, horsepower. They given for the 4 departments. These 2 are the production departments and these 2 are the service departments. Okay, now look at here. Let me discuss one by one. Power. On what basis we are going to apportion the power? According to given information, on what basis we are going to apportion the power? Based on horsepower horse. HP horse. Based on HP horse. We are going to apportion based on horsepower will be apportioned based on HP horse. HP horse. Rent. Rent will be apportioned based on floor space. Rent will be apportioned based on floor space. Fuel and heat. That will be apportioned based on radiator section. Fuel and heat apportioned based on radiator section. Insurance will be apportioned based on investment. Trade license fee, that will be apportioned based on investment. Depreciation based on investment. Though we taken floor space, radiator section, investment, horsepower hours, but we haven't considered the number of employees. I'll tell you when to consider that. Expenses charged to stores and maintenance department are to be distributed to other department by following percentages. Machine shop 50%. Stores and maintenance is one of the service department. Now the service department cost should be apportioned to machine shop 50%, packing 20%. These 2 are production department. General plant is one more service department. We have to apportion at the rate of 30%. That means service department of stores and maintenance is providing service to one more service department of general plant. How much it is providing means 30%. Next, general plant. From here you look at this. General plant overheads means general plant overheads is distributed on the basis of number of employees. If you want to take number of employees 20, 10, 3, 5. General plant. Don't take 3 employees. Self-service is not a service. If you provide food to someone, we'll call it as Annadana service. If you have by yourself, it is not Annadana service. Self-service is not a service. So general plan based on number of employees, don't take this 3. The balance is 20, 10, 5. We can take it as 4 is to 2 is to 1. 4 is to 2 is to 1. Okay. So service department, sorry, stores and maintenance. Stores and maintenance should be apportioned to the general plant. Are you understanding? Okay. Now. And overhead distribution statement. See, first requirement is overhead distribution statement, means primary distribution summary. Distribution of service department cost to the production department, which is called as the secondary distribution summary. In primary distribution summary, some of the expenses are allocated, some of the expense has to be apportioned. Allocated directly will copy paste. Look at here, allocated expenses, whatever they given, directly copy paste. Here, whatever they given, directly we are copying and pasting here. Apportionment, I already told you the basis. Look at here. Apportioned expenses as per schedule below. Power, horsepower hours, rent, floor space, fuel and heat, radiator section, investment. Do the apportionment, take the total. The total has been taken here, so you get total overheads here. Now the point is, these two are service department. Now we need to apportion back to the production departments. 20,000, 30,000 should be apportioned back to the production departments. How to apportion to production departments? As I told you, general plan. They given in the question percentage based on number of, sorry, not percentage, number of employees. As we discussed, 4 is to 2 is to 1. General plan 4 is to 2 is to 0 is to 1. This is the proportion. When it comes to stores and maintenance, they given the percentage. What is the percentage? 50, 20, 30, 0. We can take it as 5 is to 2 is to 3 is to 0. 5 is to 2 is to 3 is to 0. On this proportion, we are going to apportion. And one more thing. Here, they didn't specify the method. They didn't specify the name of the method. They have done based on the repeated distribution. Method. Finally, they are making this to department 0 and finally cost accumulated here. Okay. Next. Look at this question. This question is based on primary, secondary and absorption of overheads. Okay. There are 2 more questions based on this concept. Look at here. Modern Manufacturing Limited has 3 production departments P1, P2, P3 and 2 service departments S1 and S2. Details pertaining to which are as under. They given for P1, P2, P3, S1, S2. Direct wages, don't take it for P1, P2, P3 but take it for S1, S2. Working hours given. Value of machines given. Horsepower of machines given. Light points, floor space given. Now, following figures extracted from the accounting records are relevant. Rent and rates on what? This is the basis and this is the expenses. Rent and rates of 5,000 rupees will be apportioned based on floor space. General lighting based on light points. Indirect wages that will be apportioned based on direct wages. Power that will be apportioned based on horsepower. Depreciation of machine that will be based on value of machine. Sundries, as I told you, sundries will be apportioned based on direct wages. So these are the basis to apportion the overheads. Now look at here, direct wages actuals taken, don't take it for the ABC. Don't take it for the ABC, P1, P2, P3 and take it only for S1 and S2. Rent and rates area, general lighting light points, indirect wages, direct wages, power, horsepower, depreciation of machine, value of machine, sundries, direct wages. If you do that apportionment, we're done with the primary distribution summary. Look at the secondary distribution summary. The expenses of service department are allocated as under. S1 is giving service to S2 10%, S2 is giving service to S1 10%. So S1, S2, it is giving service of 10%, it is giving service of 10%. Which method? Secondary distribution has to be done based on which method means reciprocal method. Reciprocal method. When it comes to reciprocal method, simultaneous equation, trial and error, repeated distribution. All the three methods will give the same answer. You can follow any method. You can follow any method. But in this question, they have followed the repeated distribution. They have followed the repeated distribution. You can also follow the repeated distribution. If you are comfortable with the simultaneous equation, many of the students say that they are comfortable with the simultaneous equation. You can follow the simultaneous equation. Nothing wrong. You will get the accurate answer, maybe with the variance of the 5 rupees to 10 rupees. Here they are getting 9,233.8, 9,034.9, 12,160.3. You may get some variance of 2 rupees, 3 rupees, not more than that. Okay, now look at the requirement. Determine total cost of product X, which is processed for manufacture in department P1, P2, P3 for 4, 5, 3 hours respectively. Given that this direct material cost is 50 rupees, direct labor cost is 30 rupees. Listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully. We have done with the primary distribution, secondary distribution, and we have calculated the hourly rate. See how to calculate hourly rate. After doing secondary distribution, we get the overheads. Dividing with hours, we are getting hourly rate. We are getting hourly rate. Here many people will get the doubt. Sir, what is this working hours? Please understand, in this one question, they didn't specify whether it is machine hours or labor hours. In this question, they didn't specify machine hours or labor hours. Number one. Number two, many people will get the doubt. Sir, you told that whenever they given the sundries, other overheads, general overheads, you take the hours as the base. Why don't you take the hours as the base? Now you will get the doubt. Sir, you only told hours to be taken as the base, but why you are not taking hours as the base? Please understand, sundries belongs to production departments and service departments. Hours is given only for the production department, but not to the service department, so that I am not taking working hours as the base. Are you understanding? Now, third point. What is the third point means? You will be questioning me, sir, why they are calculating hourly rate? Where they mentioned to calculate the hourly rate? Please understand, when it come to product X, when it come to product X, material cost given 50 rupees, labor cost given 30 rupees, prime cost is 80 rupees. Now we need to chart with the overheads. To chart with the overheads, product X is passing through P1, P2, P3. P1 department 4 hours, P2 department 5 hours, P3 department 3 hours. To charge the overheads, we need to calculate the hourly rate, because here on what basis they are going to charge me hours basis. So that we are calculating hourly rate here. So that we are calculating hourly rate 3 rupees, 2.02, 5.03. So now what we can do, here we can write 453. Look at here, 50, 30, 50, 30. When it comes to overheads, 4 hours into 3 rupees, 5 hours into 2.02, 3 hours into 5.03, we are getting 37.19. Total comes to 117.19. Clear? Okay. So that is about that. Next. This question is based on the step ladder method. Look at here. Deccan Manufacturing Limited have three departments which are regarded as production departments. Service department costs are distributed to these production departments using step ladder method of distribution. Estimates of factory overhead costs to be incurred by each department in the forthcoming year are as follows. Data required for distribution is also shown against each department. Production departments are 3, service departments are 4, factory overheads given in our language, primary distribution summary. In our language, these values are from primary distribution summary. Next, they given direct labor, number of employees, area and square meters. These things will help to do the redistribution. Okay, now the overhead cost of the 4 service departments are distributed in the same order P, Q, R, S. I already told you, whenever it comes to step ladder method, one of the important point is which department to be apportioned first. In this question, we have 4 service department P, Q, R, S. They clearly stated we have to apportion in the same sequence. So first apportion P, then Q, then R, then S. P should be apportioned based on number of employees, Q direct labor hours, R area in square meters, S direct labor hours. Here they given the information, number of employees, direct labor hours, area in square meters. On that basis, we are going to apportion. And one more thing. Step ladder method is that service department will give the service, but it will not take back the service. Now the point here is, when we apportion the department P, it will give service to Q, it will give service to S, it will give service to R, and it will give service to S. When we are apportioning Q, we will apportion to R, S, but not to the P. When we are apportioning R, we will apportion only to the S, but not to the P, but not to the Q, but not to the R. This is called step ladder method. So prepare schedule showing distribution of overhead cost of 4 service department to 3 production department. So they are asking from service department to production department. So secondary distribution summary. Next, calculate the overhead recovery rate per direct labor hour. After doing the secondary distribution summary, they are asking to calculate absorption rate, which is also called as overhead recovery rate. After doing secondary distribution summary, P, Q, R, S will become 0. These are the service department, those things will become 0. Finally, we'll be having production department, which are called the X, Y, Z. We'll calculate overhead recovery rate of X, overhead recovery rate of Y, overhead recovery rate of Z. Understanding? Okay, now see here. Schedule showing distribution of overhead cost among departments. First, distribution of department P. Distribution of department P. P department is having 45,000 that has been distributed among X, Y, Z, Q, R, S. Next, distribution of Q. 75,000 existing 5,000 rupees apportionment from P. Total comes to 80,000. This 80,000 apportionment between X, Y, Z and then RS. Next, R. Total is 1,33,000 X, Y, Z and then S. Yes, X, Y, Z. Okay. Now, the point here is, if you look at this picture carefully, let us understand why they given the name called as the step ladder method. How it looks? Steps. If you look at this highlighted lines, it look like steps. So that they given the name called as the step ladder method. Okay. Now, after doing this, entire cost get accumulated in the XYZ. They taken for XYZ divided by labor hours, will get overhead recovery rate. All of you understanding? I am bit fast. To cover the syllabus. Are you understanding what I'm explaining? If you want to reduce the speed, you know how to control the speed in the YouTube. Try to reduce the speed. Go through the video, immediately you practice the question. Don't delay. It will hardly take 2 to 3 hours, not more than that. Try to practice immediately. I hope these videos are finding helpful to you people. And please support me by subscribing my channel. Thank you so much. Okay.